Nice.
Okie dokie. You're gonna be checking your phone and short answers, and then walk out when you have to get back to your appointments.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready to go?
At least.
Okay. I hear some.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Welcome to Punchie TV.
Welcome to Punchie TV with your hosts.
Welcome to Punchie TV. I am Punchie with your host, Punchie, from JesseLeePeterson.com show. Oh, Joel Friday, the host of the... What am I saying about you? The American Anchor Baby. The host of the American Anchor Baby show. James Hake, a host of the Hake Report. Welcome to Punchie TV. Punchie.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with a guy named Craig Groeschel.
No.
No? Nobody know Craig Groeschel?
Not offhand.
I don't know.
Not by name.
Okay.
Not a name I know.
Craig Groeschel is a pastor of Life.Church, where he has dozens of chapters all over the United States, according to his website. His church is online, so he does like a in-person and online church you can watch online, kind of like yours. And he has an app, and according to him, his app is the most downloaded app in Bible app history, his app. And he's a New York Times best-selling author, as well as a podcast host. And he's a married man and has 6 children.
Is he white?
White man.
He had to be if he married with 6 children.
Married, 6 children. And so he has a lot of stuff going on,
And
apparently.
he got all the people downloaded. He must be white.
He's a white man.
Don't they all say that?
Yeah.
Most downloaded app, New York Times bestseller.
You're supposed to say it.
Sounds good.
World's best coffee.
This is from Life Church on YouTube. In these series of YouTube clips that we're going to play that I wanted to get you guys' opinion and the audience. In these clips, Craig talks about the 5 red flags that he says to look out for in a person. Right? And here is the
This
first
for
one.
married couples?
I guess for people in general, but I guess you can apply it to that.
Dealing with relationships, because a red flag is usually before you get married.
Right.
So it's
about relationships. Okay.
Or, yeah, friendship, whatever.
Oh, nice.
Because you ain't gonna look for no friendship.
Maybe not.
5 signs that you may be dating the wrong person.
Oh, there you go.
And we'll start with the first red flag. Number 1 is this. You might be dating the wrong person when they're not consistently pursuing Jesus. Scripture gives us a very, very clear warning. When the Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, he said, do not be yoked together. In other words, don't be joined, don't be united with unbelievers. If you're a Christian, don't try to build a marriage with someone who doesn't have the same spiritual beliefs. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? How you parent, what you think about money and material things and your generosity strategy. And if you go to church or don't go to church. And if you go to church, do you serve in the church and are you in a life group? And what shows do you watch together or what shows do you not watch together? And do you go to parties? And if you go to parties, what kind of parties? And what do you do at those parties? And who are your friends? And how do you treat people? And how do you forgive those who hurt you? And what do you do with temptation? And is divorce an option in your relationship, or is that off the table because you have a different spiritual foundation? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What is your divine purpose in life? Why do you exist?
What?
That's a mouthful. You know he's white.
He kept scaring me with his face. He's like, what's your relationship going to be like? Huh?
No wonder you downloaded, everybody downloaded, trying to figure him out.
Well,
trying to understand.
Yeah. Can I dress like that for church?
yes, you
That's
may.
how the New Age
I was trying to
pastors,
tell you.
Dress.
I can start dressing like that.
You can dress a hip.
It's like my
Really?
Do you call him New Age?
That's what the New Age guys do.
So I don't
By
have to
New
wear my
Age, you
suit?
mean like present day?
Present day.
Or literally like New Agers?
Oh, there's a different. I meant present day.
Okay.
Present day pastors. They
And
dress
so
like.
I don't have to wear my jacket and all that anymore.
I don't think they do that no more.
Oh, that's so much easier like that.
You can wear your white Nikes.
Right.
You don't want to stoop down to the
And
our
black
level.
jeans and a brown shirt.
Casual.
No, you don't stoop down to our level. Don't do that.
How many of us can arm wrestle him and win?
Hey, you
don't
look
know.
pretty strong. He did look pretty. He looked pretty strong guy. JLP got
to
him.
win.
I can get him.
If I can use both hands, I might be able to.
What do you think about that mouthful that he gave, though?
Insane. If you got to ask somebody all that and find out that much about you, you shouldn't marry them.
Yeah, that was.
Because they're not going to tell you the truth anyway.
Yeah,
People don't tell the truth until after you get married, then you find out the real deal. Because you can ask someone all those questions, and they're going to say yes if they really want you. But it won't be true until you find out the real deal after marriage. That's
Yeah.
insane.
yeah.
That's too much work.
No, I agree. I feel like there's less that you can know enough that's just enough without having to know all this stuff. Like I feel like there's a minimal amount of that you need to know that is enough, opposed to having to ask all these things. Because that feels stressful.
But how are you going to remember to ask all those things?
I know. That's what
You
I'm
have a
saying.
notebook with you?
And those things will become
Oh,
apparent.
let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Those things will become apparent if you're really paying attention.
yeah.
They'll become like evident.
That's why it's good to date for 7 years before marriage.
You know?
You'll cover all that stuff naturally.
Right, in
without
7
having to think of
years.
it.
Yeah.
I think that he was just trying to think up examples to get people to relate to what they're doing with the person whom they're dating. Are they going to the movies? What kind of movies? Are they going to,
Yeah.
are they Netflixing and hopefully not chilling
Right.
and stuff like that?
But
But it was like way too much. I see these lists and qualifications and all these things and exceptions and details, and I get bored when I see some of these intellectual
Yeah.
Christians over-explain
and
relationships.
plus,
and stuff.
Paul, they didn't even have movies when Paul was alive.
Yeah.
That's true. Paul the Apostle.
Right.
Yeah, I think
classic, this classic learner versus doer. You know,
It-
you're just writing out stuff and learn versus someone who has experience with these things and experiences women in relationships. This is classic. Like, let me talk about it.
I
It's the
think he's just
impression I get.
playing.
that he didn't do that.
Playing that.
I mean, how are you going to look to a book that old, which has many good things in it, but how are you going to look to it for relationship advice? How are you going to look to the Bible? The Bible's about like you and your life, your spirit, what you're going through. To look to this old book for relationship advice, dating advice in 2024, it seems
I'm
a
telling
little
God, you
weird.
say old
Seems a little-
book.
Yeah, I'm telling all the Bible thumper chatters.
He said old.
I mean, we're talking about dating, man. Dating is like a thing that's dynamic. It happens in the age you're in a sense.
Yeah, and the point that I was trying to make too is I think there's a lot simpler way to understand if you're dating the right person
Right.
than having to do all of that.
Like
and
what, for
ask.
example?
I don't know. I think you just know. You just kind of have a knowing. You have an insight and understanding of like, okay, this person is decent enough to where, okay, she recognizes, and we talked about this. We got to do a big old discussion with the experts last episode, but that she has to be able to see that I can see. So can she see that I can see the light? And if she can see that, then we're good. That's all I need to know.
But how's she going to see that you can see or not? What do you mean?
Like if she can, the point is that if she can see, she just needs to see enough. She needs to see the light a little bit, enough to be able to know that I'm seeking. So that way she's not judging me or doing all this stuff. And she still may judge, but at least she sees that I have the light within me. And that way she is not judging. That's all I need to know. All this other, what movies that she watch or those things would change in time.
Why do you need to know that? Oh, I thought you were
See
saying
what?
that.
I have a alternative way. Every dating relationship thing the Christians always reference that verse, do not be unequally yoked.
Right.
And that's
then
fine.
Every
That's-
one of them are unequally.
right. All the Christians are so phony anyway, and with that advice or with that mindset, you get too busy scrutinizing her that you forget to check yourself, that you're this phony Christian
Or
trying to
she's
judge her.
scrutinizing him, or he's scrutinizing her. They both are wrong.
Yeah.
They both get married and fall into the ditch.
There's no checking yourself. You're so caught up with trying to figure out whether this woman is godly and the one. That's not even what you're supposed to be thinking about.
Not at all.
You're supposed to be seeking first the kingdom.
I think this guy just playing.
A lot of Christians look at it like that way. There's a checklist of all the things, even though that checklist doesn't even mean that they're actually going to do it. It can be in vain. They could be doing all those things in vain. And
Can you imagine what's going to happen to the poor guy if that woman checked that list?
I think that she might be.
I feel like they're unknowingly worshiping the idea of a relationship, of a godly relationship.
I think that it exists, just not in this way.
Right here, I think. Other side. On the nose.
It's just
right
a
there.
freckle.
Got it.
Hake.
That looked like
I
sleep.
can't wipe off a freckle, Hake.
Yeah, a little bit more to the right.
It's still there?
No, shut up.
No,
I
you're
was
lying.
trying to get you to poke
It's
yourself
all
in the eye.
over, dude.
No, do like
All
that.
over, man. It's everywhere.
I wouldn't do it if he was not on camera.
I just think that's too much work. That's
It's a
ridiculous.
lot of. It's too much.
It didn't even make sense. So did he ask his wife all that stuff?
Maybe. It could
It's
be.
not just asking; it's also watching what you guys are doing together, right?
Well, how you gonna watch if they ain't around every day, all day?
No, when you're together. What type of parties you guys go to? What you guys do at those parties?
Well, that's a good. Oh, go ahead. I don't know if you're done.
That was done.
But the point is, though, is that when you start thinking about all that stuff, it's still not telling you whether anything about them.
Right.
If they go to the movies, watch the wrong movie, if they do all these things, that doesn't mean that that's what they are. That's just they can be pretending, or they can
Right.
be a whole bunch of things. So that's not.
What? He playing.
They are.
But there's
They do
more.
hide themselves.
There was. So he said 5 of them. I didn't bring
Oh,
all
that
fi-
wasn't 5?
That was just one.
That's clip 1 of 5.
That's one.
Oh, I thought that was the 5. Cause he named off a whole bunch of stuff.
No, that was 1 A B C D E F.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
By the time
We
you done with
whites,
that-
we have subpoints. We have point and then
Yeah,
subpoint,
subpoints.
subpoint.
Really?
Yeah.
By the time you do all that, you ain't gonna feel like getting married. I
this-
thought for sure that was the 5
No,
things.
that was one. So this is number 2. This is clip number
What?
2. I won't even introduce it. I'll just wait. I'll let him do the explaining.
Okay.
Number 2 would be this. It might be a warning sign when those you love don't love who you're dating. When you have a very strong community around you, especially if they're spiritually grounded, and they don't like the person that you're dating, it could be a real warning sign. And we see this all the time because you meet someone who's cute and you have fun together and you like the way she smells, you like the way he walks, and you have chemistry together and you get all the tinglies when you're with them. And then you talk to your best friend, and your best friend who's a Christian said, I don't really like him, or I don't really like her. And then your other best friend says the same thing. I don't really think this person's good for you. And then your mom, who loves you and has your best interest at heart, says, I don't really think this person is good for you. And your dad, who's a strong believer, says, I don't think this person is good for you. And your sister doesn't like him, and your brother doesn't like him, and your dog, who likes everyone, doesn't like this person.
What I realized why a lot of people like this type of stuff is that what he's doing is he's providing you like a rule book, a checklist. And it's easy for people just to follow this. Oh, no movies. No, what movies do you watch?
Right.
And they can like live their life based off of this, opposed to knowing like within what's right and what's wrong. So I think that's why, part of a reason why he's probably so popular.
A lot of the times, the people won't care anyway. If you're hooked on somebody, if you're hooked on the person, you'll be like, you guys don't know. So people will hear this, and they'll go their own way anyway.
Yeah. Well, you said that.
What's funny is they're probably all right in a way that they don't even mean, because like probably pretty much anybody coming your way is probably going to hinder you in some way. So all those people saying, but I'm making a joke with that. Honestly, God has nothing to do with anything he's talking about. Like, God has nothing to do with all these little affairs with your relationship and who's liking your person or not. Like, I don't see God anywhere in anything he's said so far. And God caring about anything he's said so far.
Well, if all my Christian friends don't like her, and then my daddy don't like her, and my mama don't like, I'm a marry her.
I know.
I'm like, I got the right woman.
I was just about to
You got
say,
the right woman. No more evidence needed.
you read my mind, because I was like, if all those people are telling you not to do it, do it.
Do it. Especially mama. Because mama ain't going to like nobody you marry unless she can control them.
Yeah.
But your mother loves you and has your best interests at heart.
Right, to control you.
But also, these people
What's wrong with this man?
And also, these people aren't around. They're not in your relationship. So how would they know what's best for you?
Right.
They're not even around. They're doing their own thing, and they don't care enough to try to understand what's really going on.
And then they're not happy either.
Right.
Why do you need all those people approval? It doesn't even make sense.
It's just a suggestion. It's not like gospel. He's just giving you some practical, worldly
But he
Christian
acts like
advice.
it real should be the real deal.
Hate defending the whites. That's what
He's
doing.
just-
He's just playing.
Whatever.
He got just playing, right?
He's just saying it's a red flag.
Wait, I bet his wife ruled
A red
over
flag
him.
doesn't mean that she's wrong, the wrong
It's just a
person.
red flag.
What?
A red flag doesn't necessarily mean that she's the wrong person.
But it definitely mean all those people ain't got no bit of being involved in it.
Yeah.
It ain't their business.
Any decision.
I know, but sooner or later you're gonna cross paths with your friends or family, or your mother who loves you and has your best interests.
Your mama
And
don't
you might-
love you.
Whatever. You don't know my mom.
Not your mama, but his mama. Whomever mama need to get approval of this woman.
Yeah.
There is
She
a
don't love her or him.
And she don't know enough. See, the thing is, she doesn't even know enough. She don't
But
even know
that's
him.
part of the benefit is if they're not too involved, then they get an impression outside looking in, and they're not emotionally involved. They're not
True.
like attached to this person, so they can give you some fresh eyes.
No,
on
they
it.
can't.
I can kind of see, but
They
are they
can't.
gonna be able to give enough?
It's gonna be personal judgment.
That's what I feel like too. But I see
Personal
that a
judgments are
little bit.
always right.
No, they're not.
Oh. Sometimes they are. They're a little bit right. People can pick up on how a person, hey, you're getting whipped. No, I'm not. But then I'm not going to listen anyway. That's true. So this advice is irrelevant.
That doesn't even make sense. He said that. You got to get all those people got to like her
Yeah.
or like her.
Let's say he was saying that they don't have to like her, but can these people
If they tell you don't marry,
give you
oh,
a sign?
they see something
Something you're
about her.
missing?
What?
Can they show you something you might be missing?
Or they see something because they good Christian. They see something about her they don't like.
They can be giving an opinion, but it shouldn't be like, oh, it all depends on your mom and your best friend and your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying sometimes they're right. Even worldly people can be right
Yeah.
about a person being wrong.
Yeah, they can look at it and say, oh, that's a nasty one.
Yep.
Right.
Her attitude is
Just
bad.
for the sake of
Yep.
interesting conversation, a little other thing. Also on that, there's a worldly function of standardizing relationships and marriages and having it fit a culture. It makes, like Joel was saying, it makes things easier for the worldly people who are all lost to, I guess, I don't know, make babies for the government or something.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to standardizing these things. You know,
Yeah.
standardizing marriage. Like, this is what your mama, when mama says don't do this, makes it easy for the masses, for the milieu.
We're robots.
Yeah.
This is proof.
I like to interview this guy on the phone.
I
and say,
he has real intense gaze. He's really intense. Yeah, in his eyes, passionate.
because he's so unhappy at home. No, I'm playing.
Is he
No,
unequally
no,
yoked?
the hell in
him. No.
Unequally yoked with 6 kids.
I cut it out.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said he's unequally yoked, but with 6 kids.
My last point about that is that imagine you liking somebody, and then for one, you telling them, oh, I can't like you no more because my family don't like you.
Right.
For one. And for two, your family ain't moving in with you when you get married. So why do they have
man.
a point to say?
Plus, his mama gonna turn on her anyway,
To get
cause
jealous.
she gonna be jealous.
Plus, you should never say my mama does it. Like, let's say you're gonna stay with her anyways. You should just never even say that. Like, my mom told me to always check the eggs in the carton before buying them. Like, just check the eggs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't say that out
That's
loud.
a good point.
Yeah.
What a mess!
So that was number 2.
What? There's more? How many are there?
That was number 2. There's a couple
5.
more.
This guy did a whole sermon.
I don't need.
And we haven't done 5 yet.
No.
He did a whole
We
sermon.
done 10.
We're not doing all 5 though. Don't worry.
Yeah. We're gonna do a couple more. So this is clip 3. I'll let him do the explaining.
Okay.
Number 3 issue that you want to look for is this. Number 3 is when you don't experience healthy conflict. And this is not saying that you won't fight. You will fight with the person you're dating, and you'll fight with the person that you're married to. You will fight. It's not if you fight, but it's how you fight that really, really matters. Because healthy couples tend to fight fair. Unhealthy couples fight dirty. We could say that healthy couples fight for resolution. We want things to work out. And unhealthy couples fight for victory. I want to win, I want to be right, and you're wrong. For example, Amy and I have learned to work toward resolution. In fact, the other day, we got in a big fight, massive fight. What's dumb about our fights is we fight about dumb things. I tend to do well at keeping things calm, where, believe it or not, sweet Amy can let things elevate. I also tend to avoid conflict when sweet elevated Amy won't let it go.
Oh,
and she's really, really
her.
good about holding us accountable and say, we're gonna continue working on this, and together we've learned to fight fair.
No such thing.
That was,
Period.
you were a bit heavy on the peanut gallery during that clip, Jesse.
What do you mean?
It's commenting on over the clip, talking
Yeah,
about sweet Amy licking boots. Poor man, is so rude.
So
That
they-
sounds like Sweet Caroline.
Dun, dun, dun.
That her still so down the road.
I
Good
want to
times never
highlight key
seem so good.
points before you guys have your part. I want to highlight just key points that he said. For one, he said that him and his wife get in big fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's calm.
Yeah.
And Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Amy.
Amy. Sweet Amy is up there.
He doxed his wife's name.
Yeah. And then he also mentioned that they argue over dumb things.
Yeah.
Too. So it's just interesting. What do you guys
Christians
think?
like everybody else.
You said what?
I said Christians just like everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. And and I thought about you when I was pulling this clip. I was like, because how you always say that you shouldn't be fighting at all.
Period.
Period. There should be no fighting
Zero
going on.
fight.
Yeah,
If it ain't happened naturally, it's not to be.
yeah, yeah. And another thing that I realized is that if you're even arguing in the first place and it's getting out of hand, nobody's listening to each other anyway.
Right.
They're just fighting
Yeah.
and nobody's listening. So the communication part of it is not even mentioned here. And I don't know if that's his
I
resolution.
think this guy
but-
is playing.
No, it's real. He got the #1 Bible app in the world.
That what he said?
That's what he said.
Cursed are you when all men love you. Like what Jesus said
Thank
about the
you.
popular people.
Cursed are you when you're popular like that.
That's just what losers. That's just a verse that losers like.
This guy playing.
I cite it all the time.
He said, you can see it in his eyes. He means it.
It look like he mean it. He definitely does.
Healthy conflict.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything like this from a church.
What do you think about him saying that he gets in big fights with the wife?
That's what they all do, get in big fights.
Yeah.
And the man tries to stay calm, and the woman, personality, attitude go through the roof.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
That's the hell in her.
Yeah.
sweet as they are.
Right.
I'll show you a healthy fight.
And if she got 8 children, well, ain't no telling what she's doing.
Do you think it's the lady, it's the woman in the situation that changes the structure of the relationship as far as the whole fair fight thing? It's fair fight, and you think that's the woman that's influencing that? Like the women,
her?
yeah, the women bringing that
100%.
out. Yeah, fair fight, and
Yeah.
all that
And the
stuff.
fair fight is you're not listening to me. The fair fight is this is what I want.
Yeah.
The fair fight, why can't you do it my way? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you're fighting fair, your woman controls you.
Right. This guy
That's a good
playing.
one. And the man don't know how to nip all that out, so he has to
He
compromise
doesn't
and come
know how
to
to deal with that hell.
yeah,
So he compromises.
yeah.
People
the
don't believe.
In the longer portion of this clip, did he talk about people who like never fight, who just avoid fighting, or people who anything like that?
What do you mean?
People who just try to avoid fights.
In the law
Oh
version,
yeah, he said that people who avoid fights in the rest of the clip, people who avoid fights are avoiding it because they're pushing it down or avoiding conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say that not fighting is the way to not deal with or to not get caught up in it.
Oh.
It was more so him saying that if you're not fighting, it's because you're avoiding conflict.
Yeah. Okay, you're true.
Yeah.
Did the
So,
guy go to school to be a preacher or something?
This is a good question.
Probably.
I don't know.
Most of them do, right?
He sounded like he did.
Was this a relationship seminar or was this a sermon?
This is a sermon. This is at
Okay.
his church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Well, come Sunday, I'm changing the way I dress.
Nice.
I'm gonna come with white gym shoes, black
Gym shoes.
jeans, and old brown. Well, he had a nice shirt on, but just a brown some sweater.
Casual.
Nice little V-neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
It does feel like a brag, like bragging / propping up his wife's ego, talking about Amy and I, because she's not on stage, but he's like
Yeah.
mentioning her name, and it's kind of like bragging. Look at me, I have a wife, and puffing her up.
Yeah, that's what it felt like too. It felt like I'm gonna talk about our marriage, but let me do it in a soft way and
Yeah.
not expose her too much and be mean. Sweet Amy.
Yeah,
And then he used
absolutely.
that as
Believe
You
it
know,
or
he
not.
said her attitude through the roof, like, but
Right.
sweet Amy going to 150 degrees.
Yeah.
He also, you're right,
Yeah.
because he said some fights don't know how to happen, it's all bad. But when he and Amy, they have good fights. He gave an example of good fights. Ain't no such thing as a good fight.
Yeah.
Really. Sweet Amy.
He's got it all figured out. Classic.
It's so worldly friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about to say you're right, because this is the same thing the world teach relationship
Yeah.
people.
It's not any
couples and
different.
things. It's the
You
same
have to
thing.
be fair, be kind, be
Yeah.
nice. This fourth one, this is the last one. This is the last clip.
And we didn't get to
We're
5
not-
yet.
We're skipping 5.
We're skipping forward. This is the 5th red flag.
Okay.
This is the 5th red flag.
It is a red flag. It's a warning when the person you're dating is leading you away from Jesus instead of closer to Jesus. It's a red flag when you're spending time with someone and spiritually you're not as vibrant as you were before you started spending time with that person. And so a good question to ask yourself at checkpoints during the relationship, are we growing closer to Jesus? Let's just get practical. If you start dating and stop going to church, that'd be a red flag. If you start dating and you drift away from Christian community, it may not be a deal breaker, but it's something to pause and ask yourself, is this what we really want? Is this wise? If you start dating and you start compromising sexually over and over and over again, and you wake up and you realize we're rationalizing sin together, that would be a red flag.
What do you mean by that?
So
She's leading you away from Jesus,
but like
But what do you mean by
he's basi-
compromising
So
sex?
he's saying that
meaning having the S word, sex,
What?
having sex,
How you compromising sex by having sex?
no, he,
compromising,
You like, oh.
compromising sexually, meaning compromising your morals.
But you married.
No, this is dating, man.
Oh, this is dating.
Yeah.
no, but he's basically
Sure.
he's he's basically saying that it's a red flag if the person you're dating starts drifting away to this agreement you had on spirituality, church, where you're having sex too much. He or she is drifting away from the Christian community you guys were in. Like, these are a red flag. But to me, it's like changing your habits doesn't mean that you're not a Christian anymore or you don't go to this church or
at
whatever.
all.
And that's why I say that it's about being able to see. Can you see and let everything else be what it has to be?
But so he said, So, like, if you start having sex while you're dating,
If the sex
Yeah.
gets out of
And
control,
then you make excuses about it.
have it, but not out of control.
Having it a lot, more and more.
have it and having it out of control.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the compromising.
Yeah.
And then
I
you make
see.
excuses for it, rationalizing it.
This is too learned.
But no matter
Yeah,
what,
that's what
she's
I'm saying.
leading you away from Jesus. If she's leading you away at all, if she's leading
But
you at all,
to
mean,
be
getting
fair,
married.
he's talking about guy or girl, so it's not he's not
Right,
saying
true.
she.
Right, you're thinking both ways.
He's saying
Yeah.
The
both
guys
ways.
and the girl, yeah. Not
but
just
always,
her.
but
I was thinking
irregardless,
through the whole thing, he meant both.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just one.
I
Both,
know,
yeah.
but we all know that
Hate women.
I know, yeah.
But it's-
Go ahead.
I hate them with a righteous, truthful hatred.
Why you have your fist up? I tell you, that's a solid red flag.
Punchy TV. Soft punches.
But he was referring to the men, the woman, the man and the woman.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that we all know that every relationship is woman-led, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Sweet Amy.
Yeah.
What's her name? Amy?
Amy. Yeah.
All those muscles that he has in that V-neck, that's just compensation.
But see, that's
Right.
I feel like that's the big because you imagine somebody like when somebody stops going to church or like stops hanging out with the friend group that you automatically now are gonna judge them. Oh, you fell away.
Right.
That's
So now I ain't gonna marry
Now I
you.
ain't gonna marry you because you stopped hanging out with the friend group. It's just like you're not supposed to be led by that. So I think it's just
And that's why I think this guy is
Textbook.
joking.
no. He means it.
Because most relationships, friendships, relations, whatever, don't last anyway. You can change your mind about the
Exactly.
friends. You know, you don't like them or you
Yeah.
realize something about them you don't want to be
Yeah.
around.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you all of a sudden you ain't got to marry me because I ain't going to church. What
And
the?
mama don't like him.
Right. He playing.
People do go through phases, and when you get into a relationship or whatever, that's another big phase in your life.
Right.
So you're gonna change up your.
And what if that
Way to go to
Christian
church and
community is they're the ones the judgers? What if they're the ones you need to get away from?
That's right.
And now you're looking at so it's all jacked up.
And then suppose.
But he didn't say these are absolutely signs. These are just possible signs.
Right.
just to
he
check
should
yourself.
even plant those seeds out there.
But suppose you go to church only because you're looking for a wife, or only because you
Yeah.
look for a husband. And now you found your husband or your wife, you ain't going back to church.
And the whole time that was your God anyway.
Right, that's why you
relationship
went.
idea.
Why you ain't keep going? You got what you want. But as Joel is saying, that they just need to be working on themselves,
Yeah.
and then the light will show them if it's the right person. And they don't have to have all this outside verification and
Yeah.
who don't like you, who like mama don't like you, your friends don't like you, blah, blah, blah. You'll see for yourself if you can see.
But really, like, you can't even define whether or not she's working on herself.
Right.
You just work on yourself.
That you just work on yourself.
And then
Because she
you'll-
can lie and say she's working on herself.
Yeah.
Or he can lie and say he's working on himself.
We usually do.
he's- Right. And he's not.
Yeah.
Amazing. This guy playing.
Those are the flags. No, that's his thing.
He's just playing.
Shout out.
Shout out to.
There was so much more though, but I only pulled a couple clips. But
Craig
that's
Groeschel.
what
It was
he
worse than
believes.
that.
Yeah, he also he talks about how sex is also an emotional and like spiritual and like he kind of praises it as a spiritual thing, but he talks about emotions and all that stuff. So he's just when I see Christians, pastors like this, is that they don't recognize that they're in the emotions of it.
Is he saying that's a good thing, that emotion?
Right? He's saying that's like he's identifying with emotions as normal. That's what it
Oh.
seems like from the rest of the
Oh, it
other
seems
clip.
that way.
Yeah, it
Oh,
seems that
okay.
way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you could just say a Bible verse like, "Oh, don't be unequally yoked," and then you could just after that just say what the world says, because everything
Yes.
else was like I've heard all this before. The world says, but at the beginning he
That's a good
said,
point.
"Oh yeah, unequally yoked," and now let me go into what the world says. Like,
Exactly.
Well, it's like operating from the same place that the world operates with the emotions. So that's why it's the same result, seems like.
It's interesting to see that even when you become Christian like that, you don't really change with the worldly mindset.
Yeah.
But you try to make your worldly mindset fit into a Christian
Yeah.
thing. You
Right.
try to make
That's
it
a good
work, but
point.
it's the same mindset.
All you did was just add rules to it.
That's all.
Yeah.
Christian rule. But you're still doing the same thing.
The spirit's the same, the fighting, the kissing up to the woman,
Everything's the same.
her ruling over you,
That's true.
him kissing up to her.
But now it's just that you say you're a Christian.
Yep.
And when they follow the rules,
Most
they
Christ-
suffer, and they're not enjoying following these rules. They
Not
hate
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all, especially with all that fighting and stuff.
Most
Is it hard
Christians-
to hear me back here?
Huh?
Is it hard to hear me back here and talk to me back here?
Huh? Most Christians are atheists. Live no different.
Christians are atheists.
Yeah. Dude, that
Interesting,
wasn't very,
Joel.
In what way though? Explain to the people.
in that we Christians, we follow the same worldly,
Oh yeah.
intellectual, rationalizing our misery,
Yeah.
pretending like we're trying to do the right thing, selfishness anyway. Just no different from your satanic guest. He was a nice guy trying to do his best, a father. Other than the candles in the background, he was a normal guy. Other than calling himself a Satanist, he's your typical Christian.
And he believes Satan exists, and yet he calls himself a Satanist.
Right.
What the?
And he's atheist. Satanism, those Satanists are atheists.
Yeah.
They just have the Christians. What made them atheists too? To add to that, and they just have this idea about God. They don't know Him. They just have ideas about Him, and that's why they're atheists too.
That's why I see on your Twitter all the time, like the nasty intellectual fighting, both for and against the things that you say.
Right.
It's just these Christians who disagree with each other, bickering and puffing up over each other with their intellectualism.
It reminded me of there was a time when I was doing a clothing brand with a couple of my friends, and right before we were about to release, we were really like tight on like the funds we had to release, and right when we were about to release, I thought I got this epiphany to like add one more like group of T-shirts, and it was gonna cost us like hundreds of dollars. And I thought that it was the right thing, and we did it, and we lost money. So,
Hey.
but what I realized is that, like, just like the same way as like a lot of the pastors and teachers, people in the world, is that the emotions that come with this is what makes them think that it's real.
Yeah,
And it's just
absolutely.
So true. It
Feeling
feels so inspired,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, this is from God. This
Right.
excitement is the Lord.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
And then you lose money.
You broke.
And your friends want to vote you off the corporation.
Oh,
For-
man. What a mess!
Yeah.
Interesting.
So last thing, and then we're done, is I don't know if you guys know, it's in the news right now, but Trump has some more assassination threats. Have you guys heard about that?
Might have, yeah.
Yeah, and this is
From Iran?
with Iran,
Yeah.
And he tweeted, but I just want to read you guys the headline. This is from Valuetainment on Instagram. U.S. warns Trump of Iranian assassination threats. And it says Trump has been briefed by the intelligence officials about real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him. And Trump tweeted on Truth Social, I believe.
And X, I think.
Yeah.
He posted on X, too, which is rare.
Oh, he posted on X too?
Yeah.
Nice. He says, big threats on my life by Iran. The entire U.S. military is watching and waiting. Moves were already made by Iran that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I am surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before. Thank you to Congress for unanimously approving far more money to Secret Service. 0 no votes, strictly bipartisan, meaning like there was no votes from Democrat
So
or Republican.
everybody said, yes, give him more money to have more services.
Exactly.
Secret services.
Nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. An attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. So
My thing is, I'm just concerned that he won't make it to November.
I know it's so crazy.
I've never seen anything like this before.
That's what I wanted to bring up is that imagine in his personal life how busy the mind is about him being almost assassinated twice, more people trying to come after him, but yet he still goes up there and does those rallies
I know.
and do
What's wrong
everything.
with him? That's crazy. And then, I don't know, but I don't personally trust the
Yeah.
Secret Service in America
Exactly.
watching over him. Look what happened in both cases,
Exactly.
according to the news report. So I don't really trust them. So how do I know? How can I be sure that they're going to protect him?
Nor do I necessarily trust the intelligence agencies.
Right.
They've been wrong or lying or who knows what, and anti-Trump a lot before.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation, but you're right. I've never heard of so much talk of assassinating, like literally serious
I've
talk of
never seen it.
assassinating any president or candidate in my lifetime that I can think of.
These I've never heard.
Yeah.
Period. Not like this.
It is really out of control.
It's insane.
And
And Trump won't even go sit down.
I know.
I looked at the replies to this on X, and I see like these nice guys who are like on our side. I think of them being nice guys, like this fighter Jake Shields and Sneeko, who's on your show one time. They're like, oh, we all know this is fake. Israel is our real enemy, not Iran. Stuff like that.
Oh,
They're
they
like so
say-
blinded by their anti-Israel stuff.
Or they
that-
don't believe the
They don't
threats
believe
are real.
They don't believe the Iran threats are real.
Meaning they
And
don't
they-
believe it happening.
I guess not. I don't really understand
Well,
Like
I
what
was
they're
talking-
saying there, but
I was talking to some people the other day, and they black, and they don't believe that the attacks, the assassination attack, were real.
yeah,
They believe that Trump faked it.
I know. Yeah,
They
you run
literally
into that a
believe
lot.
I know, I
it was
heard that.
so crazy. I couldn't even respond. I just said, "Oh yeah, you really think that it was fake?" Yeah. I'm like, well, what about the blood? That wasn't real blood.
A lot of people believe like that. A
And
lot
I'm
of
like,
people
well,
do.
why do you think that Trump faked an assassination attempt on him? Because he was losing in the polls and people that like him, so he tried to get more people to like him and be sympathetic toward him. I'm like,
Yeah.
so you really believe that? Yeah. And they were going on and on and
Yeah.
on. And so I just listened. I didn't even fight back on
Yeah.
anything.
I realize it reminds me of those people who like over demonize the government and put these like conspiracy theorists on everything.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, all politicians are evil," and there may be like on certain ones there may be certain points that are valid, but they put this weird blanket on top of it that if they're evil, then that means that they'll fake a assassination attempt, they'll put fake blood, and it's just okay. Where are we going now?
I can't even believe that. I started asking her, do you think the earth is flat? Do you believe the earth is flat? Did we really go to the moon?
Shout out, moon landing deniers.
I was going to ask, did we
Flat earth.
really go to the moon? They have to believe that we did not go to the moon, and they must believe that earth is flat in order to believe that Trump didn't have an assassination. We saw the blood, we saw everything. What do you think, it was ketchup? They probably think when Trump went down behind that thing, he put some
Put
ketchup.
spray and it came back up.
Yeah.
You know, going back to the Israel haters and Iran Iran threat doubters, I could believe that they're thinking, and it makes sense that they would think it, that it's a setup by the intelligence agencies to get Trump on board and to get all Americans on board with going to war with Iran. Because supposedly Israel wants us to go to war with Iran because Iran is backing Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and whoever else.
Right.
So it could be they're scared of that type of thing going down.
But I don't think Trump would take it to that extreme.
I don't think so either. Trump is the man of peace.
Right. He ain't gonna be up there let you cut his ear off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like Trump is the man that you want in charge, and I could believe that Iran wouldn't want him there. I don't know if they'd be smart or dumb enough to want to do this
Right.
as a country or individually. Some Iranians
That's
would want to
funny.
do that because Trump would cut off their money,
Yeah.
whereas Biden and
Yeah.
Obama gave them money.
Gave them. And Trump, if Trump was fake, Trump is not gonna go down and then come back up like this.
Yeah.
Fight.
When I hear that
It's
kind of
just too
stuff,
close to the head. If it was
Right.
fake,
Yeah.
I'd be mad.
Ooh,
I'd be
too
mad
close
at
to
the
the
fake
head.
shooter. I'd be like, "Hey, we didn't agree to this. What the hell?"
I know.
That was way,
Why you get
that was
that
way too close to
close?
my head. What the hell?
If he would have been like, what the? I didn't tell you to go that close.
It's crazy.
no, it's
What a mess.
yeah, it's just
But Iran, it could go either way. I mean, do you guys know the backing of this? What's behind this intelligence that it's Iran?
Yeah, it's
No.
the intelligence
To me, it could go
agencies.
either
The
way.
intelligence
We don't
agencies
know.
are kind of like pro-war, so it's hard to say.
It's
But
clear that
Trump is
what's clear is there are seemingly two factions: the ones who want to support Ukraine and the ones who want to support the war in Israel, and they don't like each other in our own government. And I don't know who's who.
I
and I
can
can't tell you
kinda
why.
un-
So
oh.
and both groups one would lie and one wouldn't. It seems all likely. It's all likely to me.
yeah, the intelligence agencies. They're so evil. Like they could like try to frame Iran and then they do it. Who knows? But it's
I can
just
kind
allow
of
that.
understand Sneeko and other guy how they can doubt though,
Right.
because we really don't know what's real anymore.
Going on.
True.
We really don't know, and then every time people want to go to war, they make up stuff.
Yep.
They give us a reason to believe that we really need to go to war,
Yeah.
and then you come to find out later the war was about money and power. Or the government and others make money off it, off the equipment and everything, but they make us think we really had to go to war when it really wasn't there. So I can understand how they can doubt that.
Yeah.
But the only thing that
Because ain't nothing real no
Yeah.
The
more.
attention
I
of the
agree with
American
that.
public right now is very valuable for a
Yeah.
lot of people that are not in America.
Yeah.
To get people to support in America your war is huge.
the only thing that's weird, like, because I agree, like the people, there's so much stuff, so many lives going on, so people can have a doubt.
Yeah.
But I also think that people take it too far to where if they just pay attention to Trump, watch him and see, then you can kind of see the type of person he is. Because
Right.
if they're paying attention, they can see that he's a real person, right? And you don't have to like, and I just don't, not that I don't like, 'cause I don't care, but the idea that people just say, well, oh, Trump is just another politician, he's evil. It's like you're not
not
helping
paying
the
attention, yeah.
situation. Pay attention,
But Trump has clearly made it clear he's not for war.
right?
He always want peace. And when he was in there, that's what we had, peace and not war.
Like, are we gonna get the motive ever of the 20-year-old who got himself shot
No.
after he shot up the rally?
No.
I doubt it. Yeah. Same
I
thing
would
with
doubt it,
Las
too.
Vegas.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
Um,
But we never found out the Las Vegas thing
Right.
at all.
Yep. The mass shooting at the country music festival.
Right.
And this guy, I'm kind of glad that he survived. This guy who didn't ever get to take a shot in the golf course. It sounds like he's just like a crazy centrist, so-called centrist, dumb liberal. But they could easily, any old person, if they ever succeeded, God forbid, they could just blame it on Iran and then, we have to go to war with Iran. All of a sudden, they
Right.
pretend like they care about Trump.
Right.
When they let him kick him
Iran,
out.
we're coming for you.
Yeah.
And didn't he put up 150K or something for?
That ain't enough.
I know that's the gas money.
He put, if it's true,
Was
that
Yeah,
they
if
found
it's
an
true,
the
it's
envelope.
would-be assassin
Yeah.
who survived, the skinny one?
Right. If it's true, they said they found an envelope. And in the envelope, he was saying, here's $150,000. Finish the job.
And they were
with
looking at
Trump.
whoever picked it up were like, what is this?
That won't cover my legal bills.
I know.
$150,000 is not even enough to retire on. How you going to kill somebody with that?
That's an illegal. Get
Kill
that
for a
from
lot
the
cheaper.
California government.
Yeah.
Oh, that got vetoed.
What?
The illegal home loans.
Oh, he
Remember,
did?
Governor
With Gavin Newsom?
Newsom was like, "It's an election year. We better not sign this bill into law."
Oh.
So illegal
what he said?
home loans. I'm picturing that he might have said something like that, but he did veto it.
Oh, he
according to the
did
news.
veto it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, man, what a mess.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that the real value of Trump is far bigger than just him being president or not.
It
It's
really
his
is.
example.
Yeah.
So he's like a light. Like
Yeah.
Jesus said, we're the light of the world.
He's definitely a light.
And so his impact is already here. Whether he wins or not, somebody on one of you guys' shows, I think maybe Anchor Baby, said that it doesn't even matter if he wins or not because he's awakened a lot of people.
Yeah, it really has. In a major way, too.
Yeah.
Well, the critics may be pretty smart, but what they want out of Trump is something that has to happen in decades. What has to change in America and in the people, it's going to take all the people. It's going to take the people that Trump woke up.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
in the future. You know, people kill for less than four figures.
Less than what?
People kill for like less than 4 figures.
What
Meaning
is
less
that?
than
Four
$1,000.
Less than $1,000. Like
How about what is 4 figures?
I've looked at
Black
this.
people ain't never had 4 figures.
What do you say?
Black people never had 4 figures.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
only get
I
up to
looked into it.
$100.
Looking at the different
That's-
amounts people have been offered
Right.
over different cases and stuff. Yeah, people commonly kill for
For less than 4 figures?
less than for hundreds of dollars, couple hundred.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. So maybe
crazy.
it was,
No, I mean I'm talking about nobodies. I don't know what's the price on.
But I bet you
Yeah.
Trump probably made a joke behind the scenes, like how is my how is $150? How am I worth only $150K? You better up the price.
That's all I'm worth. My ear worth more than that.
They can go through his pockets and get more than that.
Amazing.
So,
Okay.
who's gonna ask the last question? Is it Nick?
How do we end?
Should we have a last question?
Yeah, Nick's gonna.
I don't know
Nick's gonna ask
who,
it.
who else knows the last question.
I think you're the only one.
That's why I jumped in, but I
Oh,
feel like I did.
Well, then take us out, Nick.
I mean, how do we end?
This is the song that never ends.
No, you gotta say, how do we end this?
How do we end this?
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Hit the button over here. Subscribe over there. Ring the bell
I'm
over
not doing all that editing with all this. That's not gonna pop up over there. It's not gonna pop up.
Ain't nothing popping up. And the people like, where? Just hit the button. Y'all know what to do. Bye.
But you didn't say to Punchie TV, but I'll put that up. Punchie TV.
I ain't know I was supposed to say that.
You just subscribe to Punchie TV.
Oh,
But that's fine.
but they know they're
look.
looking at Punchie
I know,
TV.
that's fine. That's fine.
We'll put that in. Put that in the edit. For that part, that little conversation.
Yeah, put that in there.
I gave him a wallop. And his face is really having some problems.